Welcome back to Food FAQ.
Food FAQ.
You're a doo-wop girl back there.
I am.
All right.
That's what I'm doing.
So, Peter, it's still fucking cold over there, right?
It is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It snowed yesterday morning too.
That's nuts. Yesterday I was outside doing a thing with like my kid at her school. And in those 2 hours we were outside, it rained. It was cold. It was windy. And then it became like incredibly hot. I had 4 weathers in 2 hours. What the fuck is going on?
Now, would you say 4 weathers or 4 seasonal changes?
Well, I don't know what to call it because it happened in 2 hours. So is it a seasonal change if it happens within an hour?
Well, it was like yesterday, or was it? It was yesterday. Like it snowed and then it became sunny and it got warm. So every single piece of snow melted. And then today,
In 2 hours.
Yeah, in a couple hours. Yeah. And it's like cold as fuck today.
I don't like this part. I'm just going to say that. I like being able to know what I can wear when I leave the fucking house and that I can keep it on. That's like a pet peeve I have. That's why I hate spring. Spring is so fucking annoying.
I hate spring.
It is the dumbest thing. Insects come back in like full force. They're like fucking like locusts. I can't stand insects. And that spring is like their time. They're horny and crackling.
But the insects never really left where you are. They're just always there.
I don't mean here. Obviously, when I say that, I'm not talking about here. Here never changes. I'm talking about other places, but just inconvenient.
And I think I was reading something this year. I think it's supposed to be like a big cicada year too.
I heard that, which I don't know. Do we have them here? I have no fucking idea.
I don't think you have them in like, they call them like broods. I don't think you have like large broods. Like I'm sure you do. Cicadas everywhere.
In Jersey, they were like a fucking symphony where I lived.
I hate cicada.
I mean, anyway.
Well, I live more towards the city, so it's like not as bad as opposed to like if you live further out, but it's still like.
It's fucking gross. All right. Anyway, I digress. I'm telling you this because warm weather begs for some hearty braised meat.
Cold weather, buddy. Cold weather begs for hearty braised meat, not warm weather.
Oh my God. Did I say warm?
You did. You did.
Ah, that's
my
what
little
I'm thinking
tropical
about.
princess. You did.
I am a tropical princess, but I mean, it's in my blood, I guess, but it is true. Anytime it gets a little cold out, I want to have something braised and like warm and salty. I crave salt in the winter. Do you crave salt in the winter?
No, I'm not allowed to have salt, but.
Oh, fucking A.
So.
Well, anyway, today's episode, we're going to talk about braised meat, more specifically American version, like a pot roast, which I make a really easy recipe for, and a Cuban version called boliche. You want to spell it out?
B-O-L, boliche. B-O-L-I-C-H-E, boliche.
And boliche is a Cuban pot roast that is very similar to a flavor profile that you've had before if you've never had it, but it has a little twist. But we're going to talk about it when we talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it. Let's talk about boliche.
Let's talk about pot roast.
Ah!
So listen,
pot roast.
Listen, you know this Magnolia bitch? What's her name?
I don't know her name.
You know the bitch that she has the Target line?
Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name.
I forgot her name, but my friend put me onto her. She has a Sunday pot roast recipe, which is undeniable. And only because anybody could have made this shit up, to be honest with you. But this particular recipe I enjoy because it has minimal ingredients and it's things that you most likely have. Okay. The first thing you have to do is buy a big fucking chuck pot roast, which is not expensive, depending on where you're.
No, yeah, it's cheap meat.
Our favorite. And,
Speak for yourself.
Here, I speak for both of us. I know enough about you to know.
We all have weak moments.
Uh-huh. So you buy this big fat cut of meat. Okay. And it doesn't matter what it weighs. I think it's enough for you to know that it'll feed whomever you're feeding, right? So if you get 5 pounds, fantastic. You're going to have it for a couple of days if you're a family of even 4, because we're a family of 4 and my kids don't eat a ton of this stuff. Okay. You get that and then you sear it. The thing is that you have to have a cast iron pot, which you should get. This is another essential thing that I think people should have in their kitchen arsenal.
You can go to Home Goods and get a decent price one too. You don't have to spend a couple $100 on it. Like go to Home Goods and get like a decent, you can get like a decent price for that home. Exactly.
30, you get what you need. It has to be a heavy bottom and it has to have a really nice, tightly secured heavy bottom. You laughing at heavy bottom?
They should name the pot Mariella. So anyway.
That's a juicy bottom. Different. Okay.
Juicy, heavy, whatever it is.
Listen, bitch. Okay. So it has to be heavy bottomed and it has to have a nice tight fitting lid. These are the things that you need. Okay.
Yeah.
So you sear your meat in this pot with olive oil after you salt it, and you salt it like a motherfucker. Okay. So you salt it more than you think you need to because it's a lot of meat and it has to get in there. Okay.
Well, the salt's going to crust on there too.
And God, this is why I fucking love you. You're my gay husband. You're like, you fulfill all the needs of my other husband. Just can't
Except
touch.
for one. Right, except for that one.
No. Wait a minute. He has his own set of things that he fulfills, and you have quite another.
Right, exactly.
So yes, it does form a crust, which is really good when you're making a braised meat because you want to like make it like lock tight in there so that when you put all the shit and all that, and it cooks forever, it doesn't just disintegrate. You know, it like kind of holds its own against the element of heat. Have you ever made a pot roast?
No, not on my own. I have not. Yeah.
I'll make you a pot roast.
Like, I've, of course, had pot roast.
Yeah.
I've been around roast being made. You know what it is? Because, like, I'll be honest, when you either live alone or, like, it's just mine and I, like, I don't have a family to cook for.
Right.
And when I do have dinner parties, things like that, like, I'm not thinking of, like, pot roast.
Pot roast. Yeah. Who the fuck's gonna make a pot roast? Okay, I get it. Which, by the way, okay, so you do that. And then you leave it in the pan or actually, you know what I do? I take it out and then I saute an onion really quickly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's like nice and big chunks. You put the vegetables in there. So you can put a potato, you can put a carrot, you can put celery, whatever you have. You add it back in there, the meat, and then you just put liquid about halfway through. And if you want to put garlic is delicious. You can put tomato paste if you want. Really, anything you want, you can put in here. Thyme is a really big friend of pot roast.
Yeah, I was going to say thyme, bay leaves.
Yes. So like really anything you have that you would make a soup with or whatever, you can pop in that and just cook this meat in there. And then once you have, you know what else is really good in this? Worcestershire sauce. She puts that in there, about a quarter cup. The Worcestershire really fucking amplifies the flavor because there's like a sweetness to Worcestershire sauce. I'm not even sure what it is, right? Is it sugar? I don't know.
That's good. I love Worcestershire sauce.
Man, I really love Worcestershire sauce. So you do that. You put your oven at 300. Then you go ahead and put it in there for about 4 hours. And holy shit, you don't have to touch it. You don't have to do anything. You can just clean your house while you're making this. And in just a few hours, you pull it out. And it is the softest, most delicious meat you've ever had. And all you need to do is make like rice or mashed potatoes or whatever you want to go on the side to soak up the gravy. And you have a really, really great meal.
It's almost like you're almost describing like a beef bourguignon.
It's kind of like that. You're
the non-alcoholic version.
It's that. And it's also like a very cheap cut of meat, you know? And it's,
right.
Yes. And you could add wine if you wanted. We'll talk about that with the Cuban version, but that's all it takes. And then, you know what I did, Eric? I made the Cuban version the other day, the boliche. And I had made a too large a roast. So I took the other half and I like shredded it. And then I made French dip sandwiches and toasted ciabatta bread.
Oh, nice.
The following day with some horseradish cheese.
I love horseradish anything.
Bitch, it was so good.
So just that you know,
yeah.
In Worcestershire sauce, your main ingredients are distilled vinegar, water, molasses, sugar, salt, spices, citric acid, anchovy, celery seed.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's garlic powder. Oh, there's also tamarind extract.
That, I think, is what I taste. The tamarind. That, I believe you. It has like
out of all those ingredients, the last one I says tamarind. You're like, I pick up on tamarind.
I really do. It has that like sweet, sour kind of element that tamarind has. I don't know. I really do enjoy it. And molasses, forget it. We are big fans of molasses.
Yeah, we're molasses people.
I put molasses in our short ribs recipe, which you can sign up for our newsletter and have access to if you want that recipe, because that recipe is fucking awesome. Another braised meat. I think we really like braised meat.
Yeah, we do. We're meat people.
The meat people. Isn't that a slogan? That's a slogan for Winn-Dixie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Dixie.
It is. Winn-Dixie.
Okay. So then your Cuban pot roast called boliche is going to have very similar elements. Okay. But boliche, the meat is a little bit different. It's a chuck roast, but
it's a chuck roast. Yeah.
Yes. But it's a different shape Almost. It's more like cylindrical.
Yeah, it's a cylindrical. I mean, if you don't, I mean, in other parts of the country, you're not going to have access to it. You could probably still use a chuck roast. Like,
Absolutely.
it'll probably still come out like almost identical.
Yes. So this is what I do. Okay. The thing about boliche, right, is a pot roast, but it is stuffed with chorizo or a sausage. Yeah. You could even toss like an Italian sausage in there and it would fucking be delightful. You don't think?
Cook it first. No.
It's going to cook for like 3 hours.
I know, but I don't know. I think the texture is going to be kind of odd because chorizo, the Cuban chorizo that we use.
Spanish.
So like someone who's Spanish, right? Someone who doesn't live in a primarily Spanish area, you have like different types of chorizo. You have like Portuguese chorizo, you have different types of chorizo.
Okay.
And the chorizo we use is a cured, dried chorizo. Yes. You could open it from the package and eat it right from the package.
Correct.
So.
You think salami?
A salami, maybe.
Capicola?
Yeah. No, the thing is, the purpose of the chorizo is because it adds flavor from like the inside, basically. Because chorizo, when you eat Spanish chorizo, it is extremely pungent. Mm-hmm. And so it adds flavor and adds a lot of fat into it as well.
Yeah, it's super fatty. Anyway, okay. So chorizo, if you can get it. If not, you can do another dry cured meat that is not too wide because you're going to be stuffing it one into the other. So, size matters in this situation. Yep. So, all right. So I get garlic cloves, like 8 of them, right? And I I mash them with like the side of my knife. And then I stuff the garlic into a cavity that I make with a knife. Like I stick the knife in the middle, right? Yeah. One way. And then I pivot it the other way and I make kind of like an X inside the pot roast. And then I shove my finger in there and I put all the raw, delicious garlic right in there. Eric's watching me make these hand gestures. I think he feels uncomfortable.
She's not foreign to this, I guess. Lonely nights at home. Anyways.
So you stick it in there, right? And then when you're done doing that, you get your chorizo and you have to take the casing off. Don't put the casing. It's fucking gross. Okay. Take the casing off, stick it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're going to do the same idea. You're going to go ahead and sear the outside. You salt and pepper it. If you have adobo completo or whatever complete seasoning you have.
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat that for everybody else? I understood. Can you please repeat slowly?
Okay. If you have adobo completo, which is what is it? Like a complete seasoning.
Well, you're getting two mixed. I mean, there's sazon completa and then there's the adobo.
Oh, sazon completo. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Sazon completo. And that you can get, like here we can get sazon completa. It's the brand we get here, the same brand you get in Miami. It's Badia brand, right. Badia. And just get that in your Hispanic section.
Yes. And then you just cover the outside with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it kind of easy. That's what I do. Cause at the end of the day, it's going to have a ton of flavor anyhow because of just the nature of the dish.
Right.
So you sear it, okay? And then when you're done searing it, you remove it from the pot. Here, you're going to go ahead and chop up your onions a little bit smaller. Sometimes I add cilantro, which I know Eric, he's one of those fucking soap people. I don't think they really exist. He just doesn't like it, but he wants to say it tastes like soap. He wants to be special.
No, I would love cilantro so I can experience what the fuck you people experience, but it's disgusting.
It's delicious. So, okay. So then you do that. And then you put in a whole can of tomato sauce.
Mm-hmm.
A cup of red wine. I use like the Aldi $3.99 one, which is good enough.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
And some more garlic. And what else did I put in that puppy? I think that's it. It's so easy, you guys. Then you pop the meat back in there. And then I did this one on the stovetop. You can do it in the oven. No one will come to your house and arrest you if you did that. I just did it on the stovetop because, I don't know, I felt like it that day. And I put it on like very low. It was bubbling for about 3 hours. And then when it comes out, it's a little different because the pot roast gets super tender and like shreds.
Right.
Easily. Boliche, you can slice. Like,
yes.
Like a meatloaf almost?
Yeah, it's like a circular, but I mean, it's not going to be a meatloaf texture. It's going to be almost,
right.
It's almost like a, I think the best I could describe it, it's almost a juicier, well done steak. I think that's the best way I could describe it.
Like a roast.
But it has a different texture in the steak too, though. Maybe like a juicier, well done roast beef. Because roast beef, you don't do well done, but boliche is going to come out pretty well done. Right. I mean, pot roast in general is going to come out well done. But
yeah, it cooks forever.
It's one of those things, don't get turned off by how it looks. Just like a pot roast, don't get turned off how it looks. But it's really good. And it does. You slice it it's like circles on your plate.
Right. With a little sausage in the middle.
Yeah, with the chorizo in the middle.
And then you get the sauce. The sauce is a star. Boliche sauce is, I think, one of my favorite. You just put that on there, you spoon it over, and then a little bit of white rice and maybe a tostón.
A tostón, by the way, everybody, is a double fried plantain. Okay? It's a double fried plantain.
Crispy and flat. It's almost like a little cracker made out of plantain.
I love putting salt on those.
Oh, and lemon.
Yeah, lime. Where are you from?
That's what I mean, lime. I know.
Lime.
You know, for us, lemon is lemon. It's everything.
There you go. That's your Spanish knowledge of the day. Lime and lemon are the same word. Limon is the same word.
Exactly. So we use it interchangeably here in North Cuba, but you know, everywhere else, the yellow lime, I can't even fucking say it.
Well, no, but it's true because in Miami, like there are times you would ask for like, you know, yellow lime or green lime. You have to be distinctive of it because if you ask for a lemon, you might just get a lime. And I prefer limes better. But anyway,
I know you're Cuban. You're more Cuban than me.
When it comes to food, I definitely am because
you are.
I love lime so much more than lemons. I can eat limes on their own.
My kids too.
I love that.
Fucking
when
weird.
It's cold.
So that's it, you guys. Pot roast is such an amazing meal to make for your family, especially if you're trying to stretch your budget, because chances are you're going to make this big fat cut of meat and the next day you're going to have leftovers.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of leftovers that actually get eaten in your house because you can put them in a sandwich. You can have them the same way again. It's going to be more delicious because it would have sat in the sauce overnight. You can shred it and maybe put it with like a nice pasta and make like a ragu. The next time you eat it, you can freeze it and then do it again with some like big fat rigatoni and a nice tomatoey pasta. I mean, like it's really endless. You can use this in many ways.
So Mariela, the exact meat for boliche is eye of round roast.
That's it. It's different, right? Yeah.
It is different. Yeah. It's eye of round roast.
Yeah. I bought it at BJ's and my gosh, I got 2 gigantic pieces for, I think it was $13. It was such a deal.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap meat also. This is why you're cooking it for so long.
Right. Exactly. Because you need the time. Time becomes an ingredient when you have a cheaper cut of meat. You know, it can't stop you from enjoying it. And that's it. Pot roast, you guys. Pot roast is here for February because it is comfy. It's like that little, like those socks, you know, those furry socks.
I have furry socks. I love them. And if you can't get your hands on that meat, I'm reading here too from the website, My Big Fat Cuban Family, and they're saying you could do chuck or rump roast.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how hard that is to find. The eye of round. I really don't know.
That you can find also, but just in case
you have an alternative.
Right. Cause I don't know if eye of round is something I would have to like order, especially in Miami. You could just go pick it up at the grocery store. You know, I don't know if somebody have to ask the butcher for it, but in Miami, you can just pick it up in the meat section.
Yes. And give it a try because it's not very different from what you may have been accustomed to already with a pot roast, an American style pot roast. This is just going to add flavors that you already know. Tomato, wine,
exactly.
A little sausage. It sounds like a Saturday night.
It's delicious. Do it.
Okay, you guys, enjoy the last bit of this fucking winter, which is going to be over soon enough, and it'll be raining forever and ever very soon.
Happy Valentine's Day. Day late, but happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's. You know, we should have done something sweeter than, well, you know what? We're talking about big, fat, juicy meat. I think it's fitting.
I don't know if Valentine's you celebrate, but...
The one you celebrate. That's why we're friends.
That is what brought us together. You knew before I knew. You knew it all before I knew. So that's why.
Oh my gosh. All right, you guys. We love you. Enjoy your Thursday. And we will be back on Saturday with something a little sweet, maybe.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.